Good morning, everyone. My name is R.J. May. I represent District 88 and I'm Vice Chairman of the South Carolina Freedom Caucus. I take it that you're all having a wonderful summer, and hopefully we can start our summer vacations here after today. Of course, we had runoff elections last night, but today we want to take an opportunity to discuss the budget process here in South Carolina, and specifically how this budget contains an amount of pork barrel spending and wasteful spending that prioritizes the left's agenda above what we can stomach here in the Freedom Caucus, and quite frankly, what our constituents do not want. The person that has been taking the lion's share of this has been Jordan Pace from down in the Low Country, and I will turn it over to Jordan right now to give you guys some more specifics on why we will be voting no to this particular budget plan today. Thank you.
Well, thank you, RJ. Like I said, my name is Jordan Pace, and we're taking up the budget conference today. I like visual illustrations to help me understand things. All right, the other side, leadership's going to come out and say this is a conservative budget. We're cutting taxes. We're saving money. Et cetera, et cetera. The thing is, half truths are easier to stomach than whole lies. So, get some visual illustrations. Here we got some brownies, some delicious chocolate brownies. We got some chocolate chip cookies. All right. Now, chocolate chip cookies, love yummy chocolate. Some good butter, good flour, sugar, good delicious things. And in these brownies, also some good chocolate, sugar, things make it But what if I told you that one of these has about a scoop worth of cow manure mixed into it? Would you still eat it? I'll hand these out to y'all, press, lobbyists, whatever. Would you risk taking a bite if 10% of these brownies, I might have just gave it away, 10% of the brownies have some cow manure in them, some cow patties, fresh, straight from the field, farm to table, would you still eat it? That's the situation we're in. There is, I'm not exaggerating, more than 5 times as much pork barrel spending as there is in tax cuts. The reality of this budget is it does not cut the size and scope of government. No agency takes a cut. They only take increases. Some of the worst offenders on the agency side, the Office of Resiliency is getting more than 100% increase in its budget, while DSS is getting pennies. We do not have the right priorities. Some of the earmarks, $900,000 for a podcast for the South Carolina Hall of Fame, where there is no information about it. Kind of reminds me of last year's budget, where there was $250,000 to go to a training program that had no physical address, where the member who requested that $250,000 earmark wound up representing the owner of that business in her divorce. There's no accountability for that. Some other highlights, there's $100 million going to USC to build, in addition to their $300 million that they privately raised, another health sciences building. USC just spent last year millions of dollars to purchase the former office of the South Carolina Department of Education. And in their reports explicitly said they have, quote, no immediate plans for the use of that building. So why are we giving hundreds of millions of dollars to this university, which may be for good purposes, when they're also buying buildings for no immediate purpose? This is an issue of priorities. This is why we're going to vote against the budget. It is not a conservative budget. It does not shrink the size and scope of government. It only grows it. A few other ones. $400,000 to the town of Nieces. Now, I imagine somebody out here knows where the town of Nieces is. It's got 400 residents, nice people. I know some families there. They're getting $400,000 for a town museum. That's $10,000 per resident for the town of Nieces. Now, I'm sure this can be a lovely museum. I'm sure it's very nice. That is not a core function of government. While our roads are crumbling, our bridges are crumbling. We tried to increase the spending to fix those roads and bridges faster, in a more safe manner. That was rejected by the rest of the House. So, just kind of add a cherry on top of this. I do find it very interesting, for the sake of transparency, or maybe lack of transparency, that the conference was at loggerheads over the budget for weeks and weeks, to the point where we canceled session last week we didn't come in last week, canceled it because we didn't have a resolution. And then the chairman of the Finance Committee and the chairman of Ways and Means had a closed-door meeting with just the two of them, and then magically, and I don't know what they talked about, but I do know the next day the conference committee met and they had a resolution. That's not transparency. If that is what it looks like, that's not transparency. That's not the way the law says the budget's supposed to be done. We hope to have in the future, especially after the results of last week's elections and yesterday's elections, a more transparent budget system going forward, and an actual conservative budget that reflects the supermajority of Republicans in both houses. Happy to take any questions, as I'm sure anybody else would be as well.
What is the process first? Are you proposing to go line by line on the floor? Like, how do you want that to look?
We were elected and sent here to do the work that's necessary to protect the taxpayers' money. I would be all in favor of going line by line. That's definitely something we consider doing. In a conference report, obviously, we can't do that. It's a straight up and down vote. But to go in the future, I have no. We did it for life. We were here for 36 straight hours. I'm well stocked in coffee and whatever else it takes to stay awake.
Jordan, can I speak to that too?
Yeah, sure.
One of the things that we support is zero-based budgeting. So we would like to actually see every single dollar of taxpayer money accounted for in the budget. And we feel that the committee process, though we appreciate that it gives the opportunity for people to come and testify, a lot of times what you see is either there's the same amount spent as the previous year, or there's more spent than the previous year. You basically don't ever see any cuts. And so we need to go back to zero-based budgeting. My understanding is that's required in state law, but a lot of times it doesn't actually happen. We don't see every dollar accounted for. The taxpayers of South Carolina deserve that. So I think that would be a minimum requirement, and then also transparency, as Representative Pace mentioned, to know exactly what's happening behind closed doors.
And just as far as like earmarks go as well too, I know like other states do it, but kind of like block grant type process for economic development projects. Here it's kind of hard to form leadership. It's a little bit of some money. Like,
Yeah, it's the currency of corruption. Sure. Yeah.
do you think like getting rid of like earmarks or products like that entirely, or is it more like for something to be like?
So as a caucus, that was one of our priorities we talked about 2 years ago, and that's bills that have been filed. I think Stuart Jones and Joe White both filed bills to address that, either through a block grant program where there's follow-up, or through an allocation per district system that Joe White. I'd be favoring either one of those. Yeah, whatever's better than what we got now. Yeah, can I offer you a brownie? Okay. Anybody else? All right. Well.
Thank y'all very much.
Wrap it up. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
And offer stands.
Yeah,
By the,
but I will take them out.